So here we are with the Great Depression. We are way down here with the price level falling, unemployment falling, unemployment GDP falling and unemployment rising because of this big time collapse of aggregate demand. So we're trying to get out of the Great Depression in the 1930s. Okay, so what would happen is a little bit of government spending. We needed some. Now Keynes, we needed a lot. Keynes, we only got some. And this was getting the economy, back up. Okay, back up a little bit. But what had to happen, what should have happened, is the short-run aggregate supply curve should have fallen down, come down to help it. See, we moved from here. The short-run aggregate supply curve shifting down, that gets us closer and closer back to our long-run potential GDP. But this short-run aggregate supply was not really. They were kind of fighting against that adjustment with minimum wage and destroying food to try to keep food prices high. They didn't want prices to fall. And that's exactly what needed to happen to adjust to this new reality of prices having come down so much because of the collapse of aggregate demand. So either you had to let prices adjust, or you had to have a lot more government spending to shift aggregate demand back up here. Well, they weren't doing either one. So the aggregate demand was shifting a little bit. The short-run supply curve maybe fell a little bit, but it was struggling to do so. Okay, government policy wouldn't allow for that to happen. Again, this is a Monday morning quarterbacking, sure enough, but what we're using is current economic knowledge to analyze the past, and that's how we learn about economics. Certainly how we learned that we needed a central bank was the banking panic of 1906. Now, that's why it was created. Of course, the proper use of the central bank had they didn't really fully comprehend yet, but in the time of the Great Depression, unfortunately. But later, we'll talk about a time where they did. The stock market crash of 1986 or 7. It was totally different. Huge stock market crash. Why didn't we have a Great Depression then? Because the Federal Reserve learned its lessons and did exactly what they were supposed to do, and we didn't even have a recession. We had nothing. So lessons learned over time, but it's sometimes the lessons can be painful. So what did end the Great Depression? Unfortunately, it wasn't until World War II. Massive spending for the war effort is what shifted this aggregate demand curve back to where we are here, okay? But it didn't stop there. Actually, we had an economic boom during the war, believe it or not. So we, through Keynes never got the volume of spending that he was advocating to solve this thing until World War II mandated that we spend. So again, aggregate demand kept shifting out until we hit here, but again, it didn't stop there. We actually went out to here. And we had GDP booming, and we had unemployment falling. Now, unemployment fell to 1%. 1%. Virtually everybody was working in some way or another for the war effort. So down here, unemployment was 25% during the height of the Great Depression. went all the way down to 1%. As we had an economic boom, we actually had GDP above the natural rate of output, and there we are. As the old saying goes, war may be hell, but peace may be worse. The economics. So the Great Depression was ended by World War II aggregate spending.